Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again and we're still looking at some of the commanders coming in for Final Fantasy, and this week we're kicking off with one of the other legends from one of the pre-con decks because, you know, I like a little bit of chaos every so often, and yeah, Kefka, the Dancing Mad, kind of satisfies that for me. 5 black and red for a 6/6 human wizard. During our turn, Kefka's indestructible, which is fine, no problem with that. But at the beginning of our end step, exile a card at random from each opponent's graveyard. You may cast any number of spells from among the cards exiled this way without paying their mana costs. And then each player who owns a spell you cast this way loses life equal to its mana value. Yeah, Kefka's been a lot of fun. I've played him as a extra card in the 99 and some in a couple of my other decks. It's always been quite good when it comes out, but I decided it was time to let Kefka, this version anyway, try and shine in their own light in the commander deck. So here we go. Here's what we're looking at for today, and I hope you enjoy this one. So, one of the things we need with Kefka is cards in our opponent's graveyard. So, Liliana of the Veil is a bit of a no-brainer for this deck. +1, each player discards a card. Hopefully you can do it when you're empty-handed, but if you have to discard something, yeah, okay, whatever. But it does mean you've then got fuel for Kefka if you've got Kefka out at the same time. Obnixilus as a Black Death is also just a little bit of fun for me. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain life equal to the life lost this way. You need a little bit of life gain in this deck because I just think you're going to get beaten up on when Kefka hits because you'll start nicking everyone's spells, so it's here. And then we go to the creatures. So hopefully with Kefka we're going to hit non-creature spells. So Coruscant Mage is in from Bloomborough, so we can do the Offspring if we need to, but you know, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. If you hit some non-creature spells off Kefka, as well as doing the damage that Kefka deals, an extra 1 never really hurts anybody. Garland, the Knight of Cornelia, also takes an appearance. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get to surveil 1, and then you can return it to your graveyard transformed. And it comes in as Chaos the Endless. When it dies, put it on the bottom of its owner's library. So, you know, you get this one recycled back into your graveyard as long as you've got this version up. To make sure we've still got the graveyard being filled, Croxa, Titan of Death's Hunger comes in. We all know what this does. And then because I want a little bit of chaos in the deck, Crystalline Giant. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Most of them are pretty good. But, you know, occasionally you'll just get, oh, I've got first strike on a 3/3. That's not much use when I'm facing down a board of 4 falls on the ground. So, but hey, a little bit of chaos is fun. Glinthorn Buccaneer also comes in from M20. We can discard a card and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. That's fine, but you know, we can discard a card, draw a card. So you get a little bit of fun, but you have to be attacking to do it. But it has got haste, so you know, if you've got 5 mana lying around, you can get in for 2 damage in theory and get a bit of a rummage effect going on. Scrawling Crawler, just to help everybody take some damage as they draw cards. And then again, bit of chaos. Vile Smasher the Fierce is in, just so we can deal that damage when we cast our first spell. Black Waltz number 3 appears for the non-creature spells, dealing 2 damage to each opponent. You get to shock everyone. Yeah, Black Waltz is one of those uncommons that always seems to kill me draft at the moment, but yeah. Might need to come back to this and look at this as a complete commander deck at some stage. But at the moment, it's just sitting here with Kefka to have some fun. Blim, Comedic Genius, also makes an appearance. Deals combat damage to a player. That player gains control of target opponent we control. Then each player loses life and discards equal to the number of permanents they control but don't own. So a little bit more fun, giving your stuff away once you get there anyway. Fireflux Squad comes in. You may exile another target creature we control. If you do, reveal cards from top of your library to your revealed creature. That goes into battlefield, tapped to attack you, and everything else goes on the bottom of your library. Again, a little bit of randomness for us, which is fun. Garner, the Bloodfisticailed. Whenever another creature you control dies, draw a card of its attacking, otherwise this pings everybody. Mogus had to be here just to make sure people are sacrificing things off, and it's just another great way of getting the graveyard filled for Kefka. And then we had some fun. Valgavoth, Harrow of Souls comes in. This just gets bigger. We get a bit of card draw, like this plan when they lose life. And it's whenever an opponent loses life for the first time during each of their turns. So, yeah, a little bit tricky, but sometimes it'll work out, especially if they take damage from Mogus. Wildfire Devils enters the battlefield at the beginning of your upkeep. Choose a player at random. You get to exile an instant or sorcery card from their graveyard, copy it and cast it. Banshee of the Dread Choir is just in to give us the Myriad effect, so we can do the whole combat damage and discarding cards, so we're filling up a graveyard for Kefka. And then Judith, Carnage Connoisseur, hopefully We'll hit some instants and sorceries off Kefka, and when we do, we can just start building up our little imp army off the back of Judith. The Lord of Pain also comes in from Duskmorn. Opponents can't gain life. Whenever they cast their first spell each turn, the Lord of Pain deals damage equal to that spell's value to a chosen player. Has to be someone else other than them, but that's fine. Aura Phoenix, just for the cascading and having some fun with that side of it. And then we're in black and, well, Kukushko's here. We all know what this does. Aravex, the Mind Flayer, also makes an appearance. At the beginning of your end step, exile the bottom card of each opponent's library face down. As long as those cards remain exiled, you can cast them, spend mana, use energies in colour, etc., etc. And as long as we control 3 permanents that aren't ours, this becomes a 9/9. So, yay. And finally, Thieving Amalgam. Get to manifest the top card of each opponent's library in their upkeep. That's fine. And whenever a creature you control but don't own dies, its owner loses 2 life and we gain 2 life. So a little bit of fun there. A bit more chaos to have our fun with our Kefka the Dancing Mad. Sorceries, well, you know, Burning Inquiry fills the graveyards up of everybody for Kefka to have some targets. Faithless Looting so we can dig down to what we need. Tempt with Vengeance just gives us a whole load of lovely elementals, and hopefully everyone else copies it as well, so we all get more elementals than everyone else does. Exsanguinate, just to basically finish the game off when we get there. We should get up to a level where we can do X life and lose and gain that much life we need. So you can cast it for cheap if you need to as well, so don't forget that. Toxic Deluge for some board control. Dredge the Mire. Each opponent chooses a creature card in the graveyard. You gain control of them. That's a fun one going back from the Ikoria Commander decks back in the day. But yeah, this one's a really sort of like super zombify. So hopefully you've managed to get them to discard some creatures or you killed some off with Toxic Deluge or something. The Nipton Lottery. Choose a creature random. We gain control of it until the end of turn. Untap it and it gains haste until the end of turn. And then you blow the board up. So yeah. Hopefully it's one of your creatures that gets chosen at random, but if it isn't, well, you can hit whoever's creature is with it because everything else is off the board at that stage. Throne of Chaos, just for the whole cascade and retrace fun and games. Will of the Azban to return each number, so hopefully we'll do this when Kefka's out. Get a target creature card from our graveyard to the battlefield, and any number of target opponents each sacrifice a creature with the greatest power amongst creatures they control, and lose 3 life. Yeah, okay, we like the Will of Azban. That's very nice from the Tarkir Dragonstorm Commander decks. Awake the Erstwhile. Well, yeah, that fills Kefka's graveyards up. Gives everyone zombie tokens, but it fills the graveyard up. Call forth the Tempest. More cascading fun and then some damage dealing to all our opponents. Decree of Pain, just to give us another way of controlling the board and blowing everything up and doubling up as a cycling for -2/-2 on all the creatures we need to. More control with Blasphemous Act, as you can imagine, and because I'm in black, you've heard me say it many times before. At one stage, I will win a game by casting Rise of the Dark Realms, get everybody's creatures that are in the graveyard, and then smash them in because something's giving them all haste. Yeah, hopefully. One instant, just Chaos Warp, because we had to have something that was in here that was a little bit of fun. And then we've got the ramp. Because we're in red-black, it's hard. We obviously can't ramp easily. So we've got Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman, the Elixir of Immortality to shuffle all of our graveyard back in when it goes pear-shaped. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Diamond and Charcoal and Fire, the Jet Medallion and the Ruby Medallion, and the Talisman of Indulgence, Thought Vessel, and then 2 fun ones. Chaos Wand. Target opponent exiles cards from top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery. You can cast it without paying its casting cost. And then everything else goes on the bottom of their library in a random order. And then Tempting Contract, which I'm hoping people will play. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent may create a treasure token, and then you get one for everyone who does. That's fine. Some people do it, some people don't bother. So it sits there and does nothing for a few turns, but eventually someone will need the mana, and you'll start getting those lovely extra treasure tokens. Enchantments, well, Bloodchief Ascension is a bit of a no-brainer, just because we will be casting, getting things into people's graveyards from anywhere, and we might as well do that. So that gives away, and hopefully our opponents will lose 2 life at the beginning of our end step, especially if we stack things in the right order. Bloodchief, Kefka resolves, cast some spells, people lose 2. Bloodchief resolves, we get the counter, that's fine. Curse of Opulence, just to make sure we can give someone a target on their head so we can get some lovely gold treasure tokens, you know what they are. The meat hook master control the board. Bastion of remembrance to gain the life when our creatures die off. Another one of the curses, the curse of chaos. So whenever a player attacks the enchanted player with one or more creatures, the attacking player may discard a card. If the player does, she may draw a card. So you get 3 rummage if they attack. Gives people a reason to attack someone. Furious Rise. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, exile top card of the library. You may play that card until you exile another card with Furious Rise. So basically, you have this in play with Kefka. You exile the top card in your end step, and then you've got the whole of the next turn to play it until it goes away. So yeah, happy with that plan. Maddening Hex is just another one of the curses. Whenever a enchanted player casts a non-creature spell, roll a d6, and the Hex deals damage to that player equal to the result. You may then attach the Maddening Hex to another one of your opponents chosen at random. A little bit of real chaos with this one. Oppression, gotta have it in here. It's another way to fill the graveyard up for Kefka. Possibility Storm, because everybody hates it and I like a bit of chaos, so it's here. I'm not going to go through the rules text. You can read it. I'll leave it there. Hopefully you've read it. There you go. If not, hopefully you've paused the video and read it. But yeah, I just like Possibility Storms, so it's here. Stoning Strategy. Exile the top card of each opponent's library. Until the end of turn, you may cast those spells from amongst them and spend mana of any colour. Yeah, that's nice to get some things off the top, especially if you do get some interesting spells. Guild Feud, just another way of doing the whole chaos thing. Put a creature card from them onto the battlefield, then puts the rest into their graveyard. You may do the same with the top 3 cards of our library. If 2 creatures are put into the battlefield this way, those creatures fight each other. Just a little bit more chaos, which is fun. Sunbird's Invocation, just so we can have some more. Let's see what we get off the top of our library as we cast something. Baleful Omen, probably a little bit expensive, could come out, but I do like it. At the beginning of your end step, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you do, each opponent loses life equal to that card's converted mana cost. Yeah, okay then. And then the lands. That's it. We'll go to lands. All of the red-black lands you could possibly imagine are in the deck. There's nothing particularly fancy here. I will point out I am playing Field of the Dead as a game changer just to help us get some more creatures. We are a little bit light on creatures. We have got 8 mountains. We have got 8 swamps. We've got Herbal, Tainted Peak, everything else you can imagine, including Reliquary Tower. Didn't put in Temple of the False God. Decided to leave it out for this one. I think with the ramp and everything else, we should be okay. And that's it. That is my take on Kefka, the Dancing Mad, for today. Yeah, like I say, I do like a little bit of a chaos theme occasionally. There is probably more I could have done with this deck, and I wanted to make it still had some competitive edge to it. I'm not going to say it's fantastic. I know it'll probably come out as bracket 3, bracket 4 because of the Field of the Dead in the deck, but you know, it's there, it's fun. You can drop the Field of the Dead out, it probably turns into a bracket 2 deck, but it's still going to be a good laugh to play. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please, 711 of you subscribed recently, so thank you very much for those who subscribed last week. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't been here before, please hit the subscribe button, help me out, let me get a little bit closer to my 1,000 target by the end of the year. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with yet another one. So come back tomorrow, see what tomorrow ones bring you, and it's mono tomorrow, I promise you that. Take care, see you soon, bye.